Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Growing Senior Coach and Beyond. My name is Jeremy Pratt, and tonight we'll be sharing the dance floor with Valerie Mercier, who has the very fancy flower pen. I love it. And tonight we're going to be talking about, making connections and creating our story. We did this 2 weeks ago. Was everybody here for that one 2 weeks ago? I want to see if it's going to be mostly just a quick review, and then we can actually do some action here. Was everyone here for that one? Raise your hand if you were. Keep it up so I can look and see. Got some newbies on there then? Okay. Well, we'll go over that. That's no problem. Hey, Joan, how are you? So, I always find that in this business, someone becomes a coach and they sometimes lose the ability to speak. They put all this pressure on themselves that they have to become Dr. A in one fell swoop overnight. And, I always like to make sure that people know that this business is really broken down to the simplest part, and your connections are broken down to just going up to somebody and saying, hi, how are you? Or smiling. Smiling at somebody really opens a person up and lets their guard down immediately so you can chat with somebody. So always keep that in mind when you're out and about. You never know where that smile will take you into a conversation. And then once we get into that conversation with the person, that's when our story is going to be very important. And when we did this 2 weeks ago, we talked about, our elevator speech, 45, 60 seconds kind of about what you're doing, what your story is, how you became to be who you were. When it comes up, you naturally don't want to go up to somebody and say, hi, I'm Jeremy Pratt, I'm a health coach, and 7 years ago I lost 62 pounds, and man, my life is changing. Everything's so good, because that person's going to be running, or, if you're in Times Square, they may be hitting you. So we want to make sure that, when we're health coaching, we're treating people like people, because people really like to be treated like people. That smile and that quick hello is just so nice. And the same thing with if you're going to reach out on Facebook to people, and you're doing your 3x3x3, just that, hey, hello, I saw a picture of your kids last night in their Halloween costumes. Man, that was so cute. I hope you had fun. Right? Those people are going to write back and say, yeah, it was so fun. What's going on with you? And then the conversation begins. So we're going to talk about creating our story. And Val, would you like to jump in and explain how you would go about doing that?
Yes. Thank you, Jeremy. I have a unique story, actually. So I feel like what I should do is just tell my story in the way that I would. So I've actually had a bunch of people, actually some guy last night, literally he kind of went like this. And I was like, I don't know what that means, but I'm a registered dietitian health coach. Like he literally, I kind of asked like if I worked for Brunswick, which is the company that my husband works for. And I said, nope, I do, I'm a health coach. And then that actually most of the time they go, oh yeah? And you're like, yeah. And then that's your segue into sharing a little bit about your journey and your story and why you became, people connect with why you do what you do. So I feel like if you're writing it out or, practicing it, make sure you dig that in. And Jeremy shared his story last time, and it was super powerful. And he even shared like, this is the challenge that I had, and this is how I thought and felt. So then you relate to the other people, I'm sure. And if you don't, then you may relate to somebody that they're thinking about. And then how you overcame it, because of this program, I now, have my life back, or I have freedom. I have, for me personally, as a dietitian as well, my story is, hello, I'm Valerie Mercier. I'm a registered dietitian and health coach, and I help people transform their health, not only in their bodies, but in their minds, and if they want, in their finances. And I find that to be really cool, because I had a diet mentality myself. As a dietitian, I literally had a diet mentality where I gained weight around the holidays. So I'm actually going to profess that I am I'm going to like maximize my health over November and December and not get on that, and then, you know, not have that resolution to lose weight and all of inflammation and bloat. And so, you know, putting it out there, you hold yourself even more accountable. So then as a health coach, you can say, and I decided to pay it forward to help other people because I don't want to gain that weight back. And somebody shared with me, he works in addictions. One of my clients, actually, he says, he gives talks and he says, you know, my addiction, he's relating to his, you know, the adolescents that he works with. My addiction is the Chick-fil-A and, you know, the McDonald's. He goes, that's my crack. And I was like, hey, how about that? And he said a lot of these adolescents pay it forward once they're clean and in rehab and help their friends and their family. Like literally it's exact same model. And I was like, wow, that's really powerful. Because this is, you know, my story. And as a dietitian, I had a concept, go figure, all of us do, that, you know, I was kind of like the expert. I needed to tell people, you know, what to do, because that's what I learned in school, but that's not how it works. It totally isn't how it works. And working with, you know, people like, or, you know, amazing people like Jeremy and a whole bunch of the other, I mean, all of you guys, by hearing your stories, it busts my concepts. So I think that's a great segue into, and I think I didn't share my why, but it's to increase the quality of life, like people's lives, and to obviously improve my health. I mean, Dr. JC always says it all the time. The most selfish thing we can do is to pay it forward, because and to go Facebook Live, because it does so much more for you than it does for the people that you're sharing with.
That's so cool. You know, I was just thinking back as you were telling your story and everything like that. I think, does everyone on here have a pretty good idea of their story and how to tell it? You know, raise a hand so I can see. Is everyone pretty solid on their story? Like if I walked up to you on the street and, you know, we bumped into each other and we had 60 seconds, you could tell me, you know, what your story is. You know, you lost some weight, you're paying it forward because your dad, your uncle, your mother, your cousin, your brother, your dog, whatever was sick, and now you've seen the light and you want to help people. I was just thinking, you know, way back in the day before we had computers and everything with Optavia, you know, and I was mentoring with JC way in the beginning. He used to have me go out and meet 10 people, and I was not allowed to talk about Optavia at all. I just had to go meet 10 people and make 10 friends. And that was it. And then at the end of the day, he would, you know, check in. Did you do it? And sometimes I had 3 or 4, you know, but what it did was it got you comfortable with smiling and saying hello to people, right? And when you really think about it, that's really something really cool that's going to help propel you forward. And I want to see what JC just wrote. Yeah, great opener for that is hi, and smiling at somebody. That's going to really make that connection, you know. And then like we talked about, then run. Hi, I'm out of here. So, you know, that's really, that was always so huge for me because, you know, I work in Manhattan and it's very uncomfortable to say hello to anybody because everybody's in a rush. And you got a lot of crazy looks and you got a lot of crazy people, and most of them totally blew me off. But some of them were very receptive, and all that did for me was just make it easier to say hello or to smile at anybody. And the more you practice something, the easier it becomes, right? Do we all have goals to be manager, associate director, executive director? Raise your hands, right? Now, those goals, what do you think that's going to take, right? Smiling more and saying hello to a lot more people. So I think a fun action step would be, from now until next week, let's make sure that we smile and say hello to at least 10 people a day. Whether you do it in person or you do it on Facebook, start making those connections. If it's very, very uncomfortable for you, that means it's really something that should be done, right? If it's something that makes you just want to pass out cold on the sidewalk, pass out 2 or 3 times. It'll get easier after that, I promise. And who knows, maybe someone will swoop down and save you as you pass out. You never know. And maybe it's a cardiologist who needs to help 1 million people. Boom, right? How about that? You never know. So making those connections is so huge. You know, we know our story. So, you know, going over that again, unless someone wants to share their 40, 45 second, 60-second story with all of us, I'd love that. You know,
to kind of segue to that first, or actually go back to that, I read somewhere that to look somebody in the eye and note their eye color, and that's it. Just literally just say, look up at them and say hi, and, you know, make a note: blue, brown, hazel, whatever, and that's connection. So that's something that, you know, for the next 10 people that Jeremy suggested, do it. You know,
that's so cool. And, you know, and try and collect those yeses. Hey, you want to be Facebook friends? Hand that phone over, you know, collect those yeses. Yeah, I want to be Facebook friends. Those are going to be more and more people who you're going to be able to tell your story to at some point, right? Because then you're going to be doing your 3x3x3. You're going to go on. You're going to be like, oh, this is that new guy, Joey, I met, or the new girl, Jenny, I met. And oh my gosh, wow, they have a dog just like me. Holy cow. Hey, Joey, we just met on the street. You know, I have a golden retriever too. That's so cool. What do you love most about your golden retriever? The conversation has started. And eventually it's going to go into, what do you do? What do you do? And so on and so forth, you know? That's good. And there's a dog right there. It looks more like a horse. That's a large dog. But, you know, it's all about reaching out to people, saying hello, getting that hi. And then your story is going to become organic, right? Because we don't want to go up to somebody and then, you know, vomit our story on them, because they're going to think you're insane and a wacko to begin with if you do that. And they'll probably run away. But if you just try and be someone's friend and make a connection with them, it makes everything so much easier. You know, just like JC said, the greatest opening on earth for this business is hi. JC, have you ever had any trouble with that?
You know, it's really funny because we can joke about that idea of hi, but I think where people get monkey brained is when we say meet people, they think what we're saying is meet people and tell them about Optavia. But when we say meet people, it's just like you used to meet people before you even knew what Optavia was, and you're just a nice person. So if you free yourself from that, it is just hi. Like, you know, you have a different reason for meeting people now, and that's that you have something that can help them if they're looking for help. But it's just a matter of meeting so many people in a world where everybody needs help, you know, and if you say hi to somebody and they say hi back, the conversation might go even further to something like, who are you? You know, and then you might say, I'm Valerie. And they say, I'm Susie. And then you might even say something like, nice day out, right? And I didn't sign up for this program for 3 months after I first met the guy. So free yourself from thinking that you're meeting people to come up with some sort of a technique to get them to be your client. They're going to do that once they're ready, but the only thing they need to know is who you are and what you do, right? Which you do anyway. So like if you sold paint and somebody said, oh, hi, Valerie, nice to meet you. What do you do? You'd have no trouble saying, I sell paint, because there's no hidden agenda, you know? So free yourself from the hidden agenda.
You know, and also when you're out there, we're not looking for fat people, right? Right? Today I went with a coworker to the New York City Marathon race bib pickup. This Sunday's the big race. And she's like, I don't want to go alone. I'm like, I'll go with you. That'll be fun. So as she was doing something off to the side, we were at the United booth, and they were pouring little Illy, I-L-L-Y, probably pronounced differently and more sophisticated somewhere else. And anyway, it was espressos. And so this very in shape woman and man said, would you like an espresso? And I said, who would not like an espresso, right? Started chatting, couple of jokes, you know, oh, hey, what do you do? I told him I'm a health coach, you know, what I did, you know, oh man. And the girl's like, oh man, health coach. I've always wanted to know what health coaches do. I said, oh my gosh. It's like, we should chat. I was like, why don't you, are you on Facebook? Yes. Oh, great. Why don't you Facebook friend me? She Facebook friended me. So throughout the day, as I'm at work, I went on Facebook and I noticed that this girl had liked like 10 of my things already. So that was because I wanted an espresso that they asked me if I wanted, right? I didn't go there and say, because I'll tell you what, this girl probably needs to gain 10 pounds, because she probably runs a marathon every single day of her life and could eat 10 pizzas, which wouldn't be healthy. We all know that, but still not gain a pound, right? So I didn't approach her because I was like, oh my gosh, that might be one. So, it's just about saying hi to people and really just making that connection with folks. And, that's exactly right, JC. He just wrote, skilled health coaches aren't necessarily good at talking to people. They're good at talking to a lot of people. And that's so true, because has anyone ever started a conversation with someone and just blown it as a human, and sometimes they look at you like, gosh, maybe this person will stop talking this month. I pray to the good Lord and I could run away, or maybe I should jump in front of that taxi so this person stops talking, right? We've all been there. You know what? And when we can release ourselves of caring about what other people think, it makes it a lot easier. So we have like 10 minutes left. I don't know if Val or JC, if you guys want to add anything, or would you guys all be open to just asking us questions now? You have us at your disposal. I saw Dr. Chris popped on. There she is. I was looking at my Brady Bunch thing to find out where she was. And Dr. Chris just popped on too. So you have 4 very seasoned health coaches who are ready to answer some questions for you. And I think that would be a great use of our time right now. So does anyone have a question they want to ask?
I have a statement.
I heard, who was that?
It's Peg.
Hey, Peg.
Can you see me? Yeah?
Yeah, now I can.
All right. I guess it's more of a realization. We hear a lot, that we have this gift to give it away. Donna's got the water. You're going to want to drink some water. And, when I was teaching high school, especially health and relationships and all that, one of the things we used to mention is, you can't give of yourself unless you know yourself. So in relationship to the program, I parallel that with, when you have this, gift of Optavia and, your why, your heart, then you can give it away. And if there's not that connection first, then it's going to be the selling and telling as opposed to the, the caring and sharing. But I just wanted to throw that out there in terms of, giving of yourself. You can't do that till you know yourself, and making that correlation to the program.
Well, yeah. Otherwise, it's going to come across as not authentic.
Yeah.
Like we talked about the first 2 weeks. Share from your heart and have fun. And if you can do that, you'll be wildly successful in this business. And and that's so true. If you have no confidence in yourself and you're not authentically sharing what we have, that's going to be just like someone walking in, throwing dirt on your carpet and vacuuming it up. They're going to say, well, what are they trying to sell me? That's why it's so important just to say, hey, hi, how are you? Can we be friends? Just like when we were in first grade. Can I eat your glue? Your paste?
I got a great analogy there. There's a little bit of an echo if you can mute yourself. So one of the things that I used to say to people, because the funny thing is you might look at somebody like Val, Jeremy, or Chris, or anybody that you perceive is like was born to do this. You're looking at them in a polished state. First of all, I mean, Jeremy doesn't mind when I first started mentoring Jeremy's problem was he talked too much, and he struggled because of that, because he was telling people too much, because he was so hungry to do it. So, you're seeing Jeremy in his polished state. He listens more. But here's a cool analogy, and this kind of ties a little bit into what Peg said. And it also reminds us that if we're not practicing what we preach, then we don't know it's a gift, right? Because you can't go around giving gifts to people without understanding its value, right? So are we all together on that? Like, I would assume the reason why Santa Claus gives so many gifts away is he's like totally loves the gifts. Like, he loves them, you know, knows how much work is put in and everything. So watch, here's the analogy. If I walked up to any of you, let's say in this moment, because every one of you by the end of this month can and should be senior coach or manager and move into the next group. And you just got to set that goal right now and have a reason. You don't have to be good at this. You could be awful at it like Jeremy, right? But you just have to know what you want and why. But here's the analogy. If I walked up to you and I said, Julie, here, can you do me a favor? And I handed Julie like a stack of like perfectly clean, crisp $100 bills. And I said, Julie, I'm feeling generous. Would you go into Grand Central Station and just hand these out to people? Right? And you'd be like, what are you talking about? I'd be like, listen, I just want to hand them out. Could you do me a favor? Now, I don't care how shy you are to talk to people. You would love to do that. You would go around and just being like an angel from heaven giving people $100 bills. Am I right, Julie? Right? Now, here's why. Because you understand the value of a $100 bill. Right? So if you really think about it, if you're not running around, now that's why Jeremy might have talked too much, but he was doing it because he had lost a ton of weight and he was alive and he was dreaming again. So he went around and started telling everyone. Now we had to work on teaching him how to talk, but the first step is if you're not telling everybody about this, it's because you don't understand exactly what it is, right? So if you look at someone in their polished state and they go around and they don't do the 3 by 3 by 3, they do the 100 by 100. And the reason why they do that is because they think that they have found the cure, like it's the fountain of youth. You know, like we're giving it away to people to save lives and free them and all that stuff. So that's what I would say to you is really step back, stop being a coach for a second, and just really evaluate what it is that you have in your hands. And first of all, are you using it, right? Do you have a story that says, I used to be like this, I found this program, and it's changed my life? If you can't say that, you need to start by engaging in that and create your story. But I walk around and I think I'm handing out $1 million bills when I hand this out, even to people that just want to lose weight. So that's my advice to you is just really look at the value of this gift, because once you understand it, you don't care if people say no or if people aren't ready. You run around like a madman or madwoman and tell everybody about it, because that's what you're supposed to do.
That's so true. Yeah. And JC was his first mentoring with me after he asked me a bunch of questions, and then there was just silence, and I filled the silence without a problem. And he said, you know what we're going to work on? We're going to work on listening. I was like, why do I need to listen? You know, he said, sometimes talking to you is like taking a sip of water from a fire hose. And it probably took me 2 or 3 sessions to really figure out what the heck he meant. And then you really become conscious of those things. And that's something I still work on to this day. And if you ask my wife, she says I probably don't do it enough. So, listening is a good thing. But folks, really just the bottom line is have fun. Have fun with this gift that you have. Use your heart. You became a health coach for a reason. I'm sure a piece of that reason was to share from your heart and to share the gift that you were given, and that's a huge thing. So definitely have fun with it. And, don't be afraid to smile at people. I'd say 9 out of 10 are going to be really nice, great encounters. Don't be afraid to wave to people on Facebook. Don't be afraid to go live and share this awesome gift that you have, because there's someone out there in your life that needs this so bad, and they might not know that you have it to share because you haven't said anything. Or there may be a stranger on the street that needs a smile more than you could ever fathom that they need a smile. And just that smile could change their whole life around. They may never sign up for the program, but that smile may open up their life for them because no one had smiled at them for a very, very long time. So, before next week, let's go out there and just make friends on a daily basis. Try and go out there and just make 10 friends a day if you can. Don't talk about the business. That was the old school pre-computer, pre-electricity way of building the Optavia business, by just making friends, making connections. And let's all regroup here next week. And I hope you all have a great night. And thank you, everyone, for helping out. And we will see you next time. Have a great night, everyone.